off the hook. Here we go. Gridlife Circuit Legends, Rush SR Race 3 at Lime Rock Park. Green flag, and we're underway at LRP. Big launch from the inside lane, and we're off and away.
Yeah, and Ryan Leach tucked right in behind the Stig, and Ayrton Grimm got swallowed up here because a big move around the outside from Gamma, as we talked about, and then that beautiful chrome blue car, the number 5, all crossed up of Radman, also trying to get around him. Now Ayrton able to fight back and hold Radman off.
Yeah, big lunges from some of the Sunoco Team Rapscallion cars there into turn 1. I think that was Nate Hamilton that made some contact, maybe with the 74 of Oler into the first corner. Little pushing and shoving, hip checking there, one through the dirt on the Paul Newman straight.
Yeah, Nick Billingsley was also a part of some of that push and go here. But here we go, the Stig up front. But exactly what he wanted to do, Ryan Leach taking advantage, jumping up into second in the race. And, if the Stig pulls off, that turns into, I don't know that they count as points anyway. So we'll see how that plays out. But what a start by, again, Gamma having a really good race. Look at the gap they've opened up.
Yeah, and actually Grimm's under fire from Radman behind as well, so that could swap positions through this opening corner. But Cole Gamma putting pressure, and yes, through goes Radman on Grimm. Grimm's going to try to keep the overlap here at turn 3. And can he launch down the inside? Huge commitment, and yes, he does.
Oh, see that little back end swing out, but he actually used that too. Good effect. He had it just at that. Was a rotation for him. He then straightened the wheel out and just drove straight into the right-hander. That was a beautiful piece of racecraft, using a little rotation to make a difference in your line.
Nate Hamilton up to 6th place on the opening lap as well. He's moving forward in the Team Rapscallion car. So that's a good start for him. But again, Ayrton Grimm kind of got, as you said, swallowed up on the initial start. Those haven't been his strength as he gets used to this car. The aggression of everyone else kind of catching him off guard, but Leach gave a big push to the 8 on the opening start and left it outside lane in the dust.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly, is Gamma going to get down inside Leach? He's trying. Leach flows just enough speed to hang on to it, but I think that's what happened because Leach got right up behind the Stig, and it pinned, obviously, Grimm to the outside a little bit, and I think he floated a little wide, and that's where it just opened the seas, and now he's got work to do.
Yeah, Cole Gamma drops to 3rd. And Leach into 2nd place, going to try to run down the Rush Stig. In the background, Ayrton Grimm and Radman side by side with Nate Hamilton approaching from behind.
Boy, and this time Radman's got position going into the uphill, and Grimm just had to give it to him. And that's going to give Hamilton a nice little run on Grimm as well, because he was definitely offline.
And Hamilton doesn't have a lot of traditional wheel-to-wheel racing experience. And, some of that showed at Road America as he was just learning in real time.
Yep.
And he has taken to this like a fish to water, like I said about Grimm yesterday, just immediately in it. And here he is chasing Grimm now for 5th place into turn 1. And here comes Forsberg as well, the other Team Rapscallion car to the inside of Oler.
Yeah, really pushing some pressure there, got the door shut on him. And I'll tell you what, Gamma took a big look at Leach going down into Big Bend and showed the nose, but just didn't have enough of an overlap and wisely backed out of it. Oh no, the 87 of Sheldon Rosenbaum slowed down pit lane. He's got a problem and has decided to duck into the pits to take a look at it. But here's that battle now. There you go, that bright blue car of Radman, and then Grimm behind him. And Grimm's got to kind of wonder what is happening here.
Yeah, and it's not like it's catastrophic. He's 5th, but he was really on top of the leaders yesterday. And I think a lot of it comes down to that initial start. As the race goes on, he gets faster and faster and faster. But, that's where the experience is going to pay off for someone like Leach or the Stig or Gamma. They know that they can push from the get-go, and that's why they're able to jump out to such a big lead early.
And again, you can see Gamma really glued to the back of Leach, so they figured something out on that car, and Gamma has maybe figured out the right pattern to drive around this place and putting on a serious show right now and really attacking on the points leader. And Gamma he's 7th in the points. He's got a real opportunity here to maybe crack that top 5.
Onto the Paul Newman straight. Rush Stig leads by 1.4 seconds. And it's Leach, Gamma, Radman, Grimm, the rest of the top 5. Hamilton, Billingsley, Forsberg, Oler, and JC Racing in the top 10. Up over the crest, Grimm has dispatched the assault from Hamilton. And now Nate's got Billingsley in the 9, tucked right underneath his rear wing as they head down the downhill.
Look at this again. This is the biggest margin that Leach has had down this front straight in the last 3 laps. And I'll tell you what, that lap that the Stig has turned, though, Nobody's been able to get close to it. It's a 55.8. And next up is a 56 flat. So he's 0.2 quicker than anybody out there right now, and it shows.
Some other passes deeper in the field into turn one, but Cole Gamma trying to keep pace with Leach. Leach just ran his personal best lap last time around and trying to make inroads on the rush dig. It's a 2.5 seconds, but we're still pretty early in this race. There's plenty of time for things to flip the other direction as the 8 leads into West Bend.
And you know this guy gets a ton of time behind the wheel of these cars. He does all the development. And I bet he's having the time of his life helping develop that new SRX that we look forward to seeing in the Gridlife National Series next year. It's sort of double the fun of everything, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit heavier, but it has twice the power, and it's got DRS and push to pass, and that car will be, I think, maybe they're already taking orders now, but we should hopefully see one a little bit later this year. But we are planning on having them run in a multi-class format here in Gridlife next season, where the SRX will be the top category, and the SR, which will continue to be produced, will be alongside it. So they've passed, I think, 300 chassis sold on this SR platform, as I think that was Hamilton had a little bobble there leading turn 3. Wow, he's hustling.
Yeah, he's really working hard here, and one of the reasons I'm going to guess is that he knows his teammate Forsberg is coming up behind him, and you know there's inter-team rivalry going on there. Wow, what a move up the hill.
Billingsley went to his inside, then swung all the way out against the wall and had to drop the spot. But you're right, Forsberg is closing.
He's pushing it hard. Margin up front between the Stig and Leach has expanded to 2 seconds. And so right now Leach is just thinking of, and here comes Radman in that 4 spot, easy to pick out in that. It's my favorite, probably my favorite graphic of any car here this weekend. I love that chrome blue. And then right behind him is Grimm. And Grimm is a good 1.5 seconds behind him. And he's just trying to figure out what's going on. And maybe they tweaked on the car. And it could be that this sunlight that's come out. I was looking at the temps, and previously it was 76 degrees, right? And the real feel was 78. The sun came out, I looked, it was 76 degrees. The real feel was 83. So it's radiating up off the track, and that can have a big effect on tires. And let's remember, when you've got a car that's aero-based with splitters, the track gets really hot. That thin air radiating off of the track surface affects the downforce on the front of the car.
There's a lot of science that goes into making these cars fast, and the Stig continues to lead by 2.6. That battle between Hamilton, Billingsley, and Forsberg, that's the one that's got my eye. And we saw it yesterday, Hamilton and Forsberg throwing Hail Marys at each other.
Yeah, they were.
You know, they are new to this Rush SR car, but they're not new to being close together on the racetrack. They've drifted with each other for years, you know, at and over the limit of control. So just give them a different pen with to draw, and they're going to make the same drawings they'd always have. And with Forsberg closing in on Billingsley, the motivation's there to run down Nate Hamilton.
And I wonder, in their minds, how much do they have to sort of mentally adjust as they get to a turn not to pitch it? You know what I mean? That's what they've done their whole lives, and they seem to have adapted beautifully. I mean, they're running really competitive times. You don't see the cars even sliding. They've certainly got the memo that in this type of racing, if you're sideways, you're slow, and you've got to get it straightened out and get after it here. And right now, that is an absolutely great battle, and Billingsley isn't, I'm guessing. Big off, as I mentioned his name by Billingsley. Beautiful save.
Yeah, that was a big moment, too. At the exit of the downhill, you're fully committed at the limited grip. And there's a rumble strip out there to kind of buffer you from the grass, but it's not very wide. It's easy to step over the limit there, and he'll drop that spot. Now, Hamilton and Forsberg team wrap Scallion 6th and 7th.
I was just about to say Billingsley in an uncomfortable team rapscallion sandwich, and I think he felt the pressure a little bit there, and off he came. And keeping an eye here, Grimm has taken about 0.3 back off of Radman, but we're heading into the final 5 minutes of this. That's a big ask. But the guy who is really impressing me here is the 95 of Cole Gamma. He's had 2/3, and he was the guy who was 4 or 5 seconds off the pace, and now he is glued to the back of Leach in the Stig.
And we'll see if he's can reel anybody back in here, especially with some lap traffic on the horizon now. There's a couple blue flags getting flown. We still have a few minutes left in this race as Leach now approaches some of that traffic. It's the 15 of Papura, and it won't hold him up too much. But Forsberg and Hamilton, Forsberg just ran his best lap. He's only 0.6 back.
That's going to be fun. And there's, as you said, there's not a whole lot of time here. And I thought that Gamma might have picked up a little bit of ground on Leach, but he actually also got hung up by Papura just a little bit. And, we're not in any way criticizing any of these cars getting lapped as he's throwing it around. This track is difficult to pass on, and you can't punch the disappear button. And it all comes down to when do you catch that car, and they just caught him in the wrong spot.
White flag, last lap here for Rush SR Race 3. The Rush Stig leads the way, 3 seconds clear of Ryan Leach and Cole Gamma. Radman, Grimm, Hamilton, Forsberg, Billingsley, JC Racing, and Oler, the rest of the top 10. Radman ran his best lap, but is too far back to do much about a podium spot here. And here's those two Rapscallion teammates, 4/10 apart in the last lap battle between the two Sunoco cars.
Well, Forsberg has been the guy thus far who's had the better of it in this race. Hamilton's had a couple of ninths that he put together yesterday. Forsberg, a couple of eights. So you know that Hamilton wants more than anything to hold him off, and Forsberg would love to pip him for a third straight time.
Well, he is so close. 5 car lengths, 4 car lengths, maybe 3 now as they head to the uphill. The leaders are already there and making their way back around. And the Rush Stig is going to pick up the checkered flag. Then it's Leach behind in second place, Cole Gamma in third. And it's a ways back to find Radman and Grimm, who are 2 seconds apart. And it'll be Radman P4, Grimm P5. The question is, who finishes 6th between the two Sunoco cars, nose to tail to the checkered flag? I think Hamilton's going to hang on, and he will.
Yep,
6th.
he did just enough. And I got to tell you, in those last 2 laps, Radman, and I think it was partly, that was a battle right to the line.
JC Racing and Oler by 300ths of a second.
Really close. But in those last 2 laps, I don't know whether Grimm got held up a little bit in traffic, but that margin had gotten down to 1.4 seconds, and it bloomed to 3 over those last 2 laps. So either Radman just was absolutely dropped the hammer, or Grimm had some sort of an issue out there. But still top 5 for the 15-year-old, and obviously this is pretty new to him at this stage.
Yeah, it seems to be, that this race, something wasn't quite right for Ayrton Grimm in that number 49, but we'll see if he can respond in race number 4. Rush SR never fails to put on a show. Here's a look at the highlights. 3 wide at the start, and it was a push from the 56 that shoved the 8 clear of Grimm. And I think on the inside, look at all the mess between Oler and the Team Rapscallion cars. That kind of spooked everybody and split the field up a little bit as they went through the Big Bend the first time.
Yep, and then here you can see, look at how close Hamilton was there to the 74 of Oler as they were duking. He was absolutely determined to get to the front and stay there. And you can see Radman putting that move on, looking, and just behind Radman diving down the inside of Grimm as they go through. Here you can see him in the background, but what a race up front here. I'll tell you, Gamma really dug deep and found something.
Yeah, he did, and he almost found second there on the inside of the 56. Ayrton Grimm and losing a spot to Rob Radman there. Then Nate Hamilton put some pressure on them, but it was Forsberg and Hamilton that would fight later in this race. Team Rapscallion teammates with the Sunoco liveries competing together nose to tail as they did yesterday.
Yeah, Forsberg going by Oler there. And then there's Hamilton, and there's Forsberg, and now Billingsley in between them. And then we saw Billingsley right here. That could have been diabolical. He did a brilliant job to save it, just only lost 1 position.
Yeah, no lifting from Forsberg, kept the foot in it, drove right by, and then those 2 cars sharing matching liveries. These 2 guys that have taken to the top level of Formula Drift battling in Rush SR. But it was the Rush Stig that wins, with Ryan Leach right behind, and then Cole Gamma picking up another podium here this weekend. It's been a great weekend for him.